Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Finish Friday. Surprise, it's not Amy Howard, it's Mr. Amy Howard is with you today as your guest teacher and um, all around, all around mess, as Amy says, uh, which you may hear in the background. Thank you. I hope you will enjoy today. We have a great finish for you. It's an heirloom finish that you see from time to time. Very bespoke. It's a great looking finish, and it's so easy to do. It's just a combination of a few things that if you've been doing any finishes with us, you've probably got these in your finishing pantry and would be able to have this anytime you need it. So again, welcome and glad to have you. And this time, my assistant is is with us, and she'll help.
I'm over here helping.
she's she is here. So not just in spirit, but she is here. So we've done some things. I would like for you to see. Amy's pulled some great looking textures, colors together. Let me bring this down where you can see it. There we go. Now, what we've got in our backdrop here is our wallpaper. As you know, we are doing wallpaper. This is our leaf trail design, and this color is smoke. And notice how this coloration with the little dried hydrangea and then our sample that you see here that we've done. A funny thing about this, as you know, when you're working with wood, wood has a mind of its own. You can have two pieces of the same variety. In this case, we're using oak, and but it'll be different each time because everything the oak will take the better with age a little differently. It may take, which we'll be using Venetian plaster, depends on how much, how little. So it's all the variation. So you'll get a little bit of difference each time. We've got this great little antique terracotta pot right here. So all of this together works in such a nice pattern and color and texture that we're going to be doing with our finish today.
Right.
So our outcome, you'll see, these are we're using oak. We like oak when we use better with age. The reason being is because the oak it's got a lot of tannins and it works really well with better with age. You can also use this with mahogany, with cherry, uh, birch and maple. It doesn't darken quite as much as the oak does, but like I say, we love using it with oak, and that's what we'll be using today for our sample. And if you're watching, if you're with us today, one, again, thank you for being with us. Two, just, hey, where are you from? We'd love to know what city, what state. Hey, do you have dogs? We have two dogs. So tell us about your pets. We love our pets. We love our fur babies, as they're called. And so let us know. So we'll start out. Here we have a piece of oak, and this particular species is red oak. As you can see, there's kind of a reddish tint to it. There's also white oak. There is French oak. A lot of different types of oaks out there, but again, we're going to be using one because the samples are easily accessible. But most of the time, a lot of your antique oak pieces, they'll probably be a white oak, or if it's European, it's probably going to be a French oak. And we'll start with our better with age. This is what we'll use first. Stir it up really well. And we're going to brush this on. And the way better with age works, better with age is not a stain. This actually reacts with the tannins in there. That's why oak is so good, because oak has got a lot of tannins. And so the better with age will work super with your oak as it goes in. And as this dries down, it's going to get darker. And I would suggest, because when you get a fresh can of this, it's going to be more potent than if your can's been sitting in your refinishing pantry for say 6, 7, 8 months. So you may want to start out and dilute it, because you can always make it darker. Trying to take it back lighter, very, very, very difficult. So the way that you can do this, take your Better with Age and dilute it half and half water, half Better with Age. Start with that and then see if that's gotten as dark as you want it. If not, you can put more on there full strength. And then what we're going to do, we're going to set that off to the side and let that dry. Now I've already got a sample ready that we've done, that you can see how it's already darkened.
Show them side by side.
Yeah, see the difference is this is before, this is after. And since I've already got this dark, I like that, and even darker is better, so I can put more on, and we will put more on. And the reason being, this finish works best when the Better with the Age is slightly damp. And I'll explain that as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and put another coat of Better with Age. And I'm just going to pat that down. And I'm using a cloth rag. I'm not using a paper towel, because a paper towel, a lot of lint. A lot of lint in that paper towel, and I don't want that. So I'm going to pat this down just a little bit where it's kind of drip dry. Make sure I'm going to get this a little bit more in the grain. So you can see how that is still, you can see the glossy of the damp. And it's even, as you can see, it's getting a little darker as well. Now what we're going to do while that's semi-dry, we're going to take our Venetian plaster, and we're going to mix up some Venetian plaster. And I'm just mixing it. I put some water, and it's better to put the Venetian plaster in water instead of putting water on the Venetian plaster. It will just mix a little easier. And we're going to do this where it's roughly about 1-to-1. We want this to be the consistency of cake batter. As Amy says, her favorite dessert is wedding cake.
Yum, yum.
I don't know if that's a hint for a second honeymoon or...
I'm in. Brushed it on.
All right, so we've got it mixed up, and then we're going to take a brush. We just got one of our synthetic chip brushes. Again, this is still a little damp, and that's what you want. The reason that we want the Better with Age to be a little damp, the Venetian plaster is going to pull some of that coloring into the Venetian plaster. And that's how we get, you notice Venetian plaster, when it's has no coloring in it, it's white. But notice how this has more of a little beigey taupe to it, and that's because the Venetian plaster pulled that Better with Age and the tannins into the plaster. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cross grain it. Again, I'm trying to get it down into the grain. It's similar to cerusing, but it's different because with cerusing wax, you buff that up, you're going to get a sheen. Venetian plaster, if we don't buff it, we're not going to get that sheen. And we're going to do a little hair dryer action. I apologize for the noise. Can you see how the Venetian plaster was white? Now we're starting to get that beigey color. Now when you're doing a piece of furniture or some cabinets, you can let it air dry. We're just having to use the hair dryer for expedience. But if you're doing this at home on a piece of furniture or your cabinets, you just let that air dry. Again, see how our color, it's not that pure white anymore. All right, we've got it dry enough. And then the next step is we're taking some 220 grit sandpaper. This is wet dry sandpaper, so you can use this wet or dry. In this case, we want to use it dry. And then we just start removing. And I'm going to go with the grain. And at this point, it's a preference. How much do you want to remove? How much do you want to leave on the piece? We don't want it to be too blotchy, but we do want to give it some interest in the texture. And notice I'm doing a little hit and miss because, again, I don't want this uniform. I don't want this to be perfect. I want to have some areas that are heavier, some areas that are lighter. So it's just kind of a hit and miss. Let's get very clean. We'll dust this off. Now our next step is, notice we're getting closer to our sample. Next, we want to put the age spots on there, or fly specking. So what we'll do is we'll take our Better with Age, and always stir. Be sure when you're using products, you want to, any liquids you want to stir, whether it's paint or Better with Age or Venetian plaster, you want to continue to stir as you're using it. And then I'm going to offload, and I'm going to do a little practice. I'm going to flick, and I don't want too much. I don't want to get too big a spot on there. And again, you don't want a big area that's totally splattered. See that? You can see the splattering. And what we'll do, we're going to dry that, and that splattering will set into our finish. So again, pardon for the noise, hair dryer. And when you do the 8 spots or the fly specks. We don't want those too big, and we want them different sizes. We want some large ones, we want some small ones. Now you can see how that's set in there. They're there, but it's very subtle. We don't want them blatant. All right, our next step, we can do one of two things. I'll show you a sample where we have, this side was done with matte sealer. This side was done with our Mind Your Own Beeswax. So again, a preference. Here we come to a fork in the road. Which direction do we want to go? Amy and I kind of prefer this. I think we've liked the matte finish or the matte sealer finish better than the Mind Your Own Beeswax, but both are great. It just depends on what you're wanting as your final look. And so in this case, I'm going to do the matte sealer. And here's our matte sealer. Again, we want to stir. Make sure we've got all of those. And our matte sealer, this is a water-based polyurethane. So the water-based poly, that's more environmentally friendly. And we're going to take a sponge brush because this helps with the preventing brush marks from a bristle brush. And just want to put that on. Better to put light coats than one big heavy coat. It dries
now your
and
marks
cures.
come out. Look at that.
Yes, we can see don't want to overwork it. We just want a uniform coverage so you can still see our spots. Now the matte sealer, because it's wet, we've got that glossy sheen to it. So let's hit it with the hairdryer once again. Now notice as the matte sealer is starting to dry, notice our Venetian plaster is coming back through again. So we've got a coat on there. Okay, Amy's suggesting let's go ahead and let's do some wax over this. So notice we've got the white of the Venetian plaster a little bit more noticeable than in this sample. Again, everything that you do, if you do something a little more, a little less, it does a little change on you, which is okay. So once you do it, take it all the way through so it's always uniform. So I'm going to take a little bit of beeswax, using our Mind Your Own Beeswax, which is a clever name. Put it on a rag. And then just lightly, when we use our wax, same thing. We do not want a thick, heavy coat. We want thinner, but we want full coverage. We do want uniform. We don't want it really heavy in one area and light in another. And then let that dry about 20-30 minutes. And after it dries, you can go in and buff it. And this gives you, again, a nice European wax finish. Very bespoke.
It has a tendency to look a little streaky on the camera, but it doesn't look that in real life.
True. There's a lot of chatter marks in the wood
I think that one
itself.
looks good, and that one looks
Yes.
good as far as showing them.
Yeah. I mean, you've got that. Again, everything, the better with age will change one piece of oak a little different than another piece of oak. This one, if you leave the better with age more moist, then the Venetian plaster will pull more of that. So it's just however you want to do it, whether you want to do that with matte cedar or you want to do that with mind your own beeswax. Neither one is wrong. It's just whichever one you prefer better. All right, so welcome back. So I hope that was informative. Gives you a little bit of options on finishes. If you've got a new set of cabinets and that are unfinished and you want to do that, or you've got a piece of furniture and let's say it does have a finish, well, you can sand that finish off. You want to get that clear coat off because the better with age works with unfinished wood. You cannot use this with a lacquered or a shellac or a wax piece. You've got to remove that so that the better with age can react with the tannins in the wood. So again, thank you guys for being available and for participating with us in watching this, and hope that you'll have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for sharing and being part of our group. Have a great weekend, guys.